right, yeah, back at it. But nah, man. So switching gears because we kind of we kind of answered one and two. Our second question that we was going to ask or answer was why did Sakura not like Naruto? But we kind of answered all of that.
Hmm.
So now getting into Shippuden, and we're going to cover two different things: how their relationship changed, um, and the big "I love you" moment. That's when we were really going to get into that.
Hmm.
Because I have my thoughts about all of that, and John, I know you have your thoughts about all of that, and
Hmm.
I just really like I got to go hard in the paint about that because there's so much context that's missing from this conversation, and I really do like shame on those that have life experience and are still choosing to see it as a 13 to 16-year-old boy. Like, come on, guys, like seriously, but their relationship is Shippuden. So if you go back to what's this? Let me get the right chapter. Chapter 245.
Hmm.
This is in the manga where Naruto comes back to the village. I think after was it 3 years that he was gone with
Yeah, roughly like 3 years, like a 2.5 year time skip
yeah,
or something
like
like
yeah,
that.
with
Yeah.
Jiraiya. So he runs into Sakura and like and I think this is where I think this is where men or even teenagers, how you want to say it, um, they get things kind of mixed up, right? Because Sakura is looking um like she wants an acknowledgement from Naruto, right? Because she's
Hmm.
looking at him like a shy girl, like, oh, like Naruto, do you see anything different? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that men in particular don't understand women or girls when it comes to the nuances of how they get validation. And mind you, for all the women that are listening, if I am saying anything that is really outside of the bounds of how you guys think and see things as teenagers, I completely apologize in advance because I'm not trying to speak for y'all. But from my experiences with women that I have known that were friends when I was a teenager and stuff like that, I experienced women who did not want to be in a relationship with me in a romantic way, but they did want to know how I saw and felt about them. And in a way, it like just to say it simply so that everybody's on the same page, they wanted and needed my validation, but it was not
Hmm.
for romantic purposes. Did they use their femininity to get that response from me? Yes. But did they intend for it to lead to us being in a relationship and for me to like them? No. But they used their femininity to get the response that they wanted because they wanted to know how I saw them in comparison to, at least for me, how I saw other women.
Hmm.
Because I had relationships with women who were my friends who I spoke very freely about how I felt about other women. And or girls, whatever. But I'm more specifically thinking about my time when I was like in college, when I first started college. So my age at that time was anywhere from 17 to 20 something.
Hmm.
So and I had a one friend in particular, and like she was always around me, like well, during the summer times and breaks and stuff. She was around me and my family and stuff like that. And I did have feelings for her, but she was just like, no, this is it. And when you get older, you just realize something different. So when I see that situation with Naruto and Sasuke, I mean not Naruto and Sasuke, Naruto and Sakura,
Hmm.
and she's looking at him with those like that dreamy, innocent, like, oh, and she's like, wow, almost didn't recognize you. We both really grown, huh? Like she's, like she's putting on a show right now. And Naruto being completely clueless is just like, oh yeah, well you say so. You haven't changed at all. Like he's not on the same wavelength, and I give him credit for not being there. But even in this scene, and correct me if I'm wrong, I do feel like that if he would have come into that scene more mature and aware, he perhaps could have actually changed that situation to a romantic one. But if you see how that situation played out, his protege came out with the sexy jutsu and did that. And he's like, I'm not a kid anymore. You got to work on other jutsu too, you know. And Sakura's like, oh my God, like, who is this dude? Like, like
Yeah.
you know, she about to turn a leaf. Like he did not know this was his moment. And then he's just like, nah, bro, you got to do the new pervy ninjutsu. And
I'm on that chapter, and it's now watch this, my new pervy ninjutsu invention.
yeah,
So yeah.
like, and it was just like, nope, like that was it for her. Like, I think that was probably the one time, like, outside of any serious ninja business,
Mhm.
where it was like, I haven't seen you for a while. I've grown up. You've grown up. I need to see if you've changed. And he has not. Like,
And what's funny in that scene is that, and you know what's funny, I never looked at it in that particular context, but I think that's the world of Naruto telling us that this relationship ain't never gonna happen.
yeah, it was never
Like
going to happen. That was his layup.
Konohamaru came in like a wrecking ball, and it was perfect timing to remind us that this relationship ain't never gonna happen.
Well, because the thing is that let's put it in perspective. Like,
Mhm.
showing up for me in battle and then showing up for me in life are two different things.
Yeah.
Sasuke, even though he had inconsistencies in his ninja career up until that point, to say it plainly, but when they were a team, he was inconsistent. But he had a seriousness about him that even as a teenager, she could look at him and say, that's the type of person I want to be with.
Yeah.
Naruto did not exhibit anything serious about him unless he was in battle. And
Mhm.
that is hard, you know, like, it's one thing to trust you with my life as it pertains to doing the ninja stuff and coming up with, you know, techniques and stuff, but they have a whole life to live outside of that. And if you're
Mhm.
immature and you're still doing childlike things, you know, a girl that's looking for a man, like, that's not anything that's going to sway them. And even to
No.
throw, you know, people a little curveball a bit, because you have Hinata, who did fall for Naruto. However, she was never close enough to him to see his continual antics. Anytime that we see that she is watching him, she is seeing him do something very pivotal that makes her fall more deeply and deeply in love with him, because she sees him in the way that Sakura sees Sasuke. Like, this dreamboat, this guy that's brave, this guy that, like, has it, you know, mainly has it all together, the one I'm willing to, like, risk it all for, like, but she was never around to really see more of his what's the word I'm looking for?
I
Um
guess like his childish moments, like when he was really being
yeah, like, she did, like, and mind you, memory does,
well.
betrays me. I don't know if she's like hiding out seeing every single thing. I know she did kind of watch him, but I don't know if she really saw that part of
So
him.
I think I might get some hate for this, but Hinata's love story for Naruto retroactively, because the movie came out after the series
Mhm.
ended, is actually more concrete than, and her feelings are more complex towards Naruto than Sakura's
No,
towards Sasuke.
absolutely. Oh
And
yeah,
the
oh
reason
yeah,
why I
yeah,
bring
yeah.
that up is because with Hinata, she I think for in small cases, she sees the goofball that Naruto is. She's not stupid. She can hear what other people say, right?
Yeah.
But she's also sees a lonely outcast that needs to be loved. And I think that's how she sees herself. Because
Mm.
remember, by the time we met Hinata, right? Hinata was the outcast of the main branch. It was
Mhm.
her sister Hanabi who was looked at as a more complete ninja,
Yeah.
and someone who is actually going to take on the Hyuga clan bloodline. Not Hinata. They thought Hinata was pretty much a failure. Essentially, we
Mhm.
saw that scene happen early on when Kunrai Sensei went to the Hyuga compound to let Hinata's father know that Hinata was going to be under her care and her team.
Hmm.
And I think the fact that, and we don't see it until Naruto the last, but Naruto stood up for Hinata when no one else stood up for her.
He did.
And I think that's the complexity of their relationship, and where it builds from there. And I think, because if you look at it just from the story, her early love for Naruto doesn't really make too much sense. And if you only look at it through Naruto's eyes, she's just weird, right? And
Yeah.
we don't really get much else in the story to let us know anything different. But I think retroactively, their love story in comparison to where Sakura and Sasuke's falls in at, because of that detail, is just more complex.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I I just think that like I'm not getting completely into my conclusion because we still got a little bit more to go. But I really think that if people really honored what love is, and
Mhm.
like you just would not look at Naruto and feel like he's missing out on anything because he ended up finding real love, man, and real love that he like. If you watch that movie, he came to the realization that he loved her too, you
Yeah.
know, and like Sakura was one of the one people that helped him get there because the fact that he was so immature, it's like, dude, like this has been staring you right in the face this whole time, and you don't see why she did this thing for you, like because it was the scarf that she had did for him,
And you
and
know what's crazy? I think eh, I want to say it's either during the tuning exams where Hinata was going to let him cheat,
yep,
or
she
it was
was,
another
it was,
scene
that was it.
after that. Was it okay? Naruto had a realization about Hinata. I think, and this goes back to them being young. Naruto had a blind love for Sakura. I
Hmm.
don't think that blind love was necessarily clouding his judgment within a sense, but I think at that time period, the only way Naruto viewed someone being interested in him was the way that he was interested in Sakura.
Hmm.
Outlandish, loud, vibrant, everything that Hinata wasn't.
Hmm.
And Hinata was, in its own strange way, Hinata kind of has always really kind of been there for Naruto in these very weird moments when
Hmm.
there was an opportunity to be there for them, like during
Hmm.
the tuning exams, during the preliminaries. Soon as he came out of that match, she had concocted a special mix just for Naruto, and then had to think twice about giving some to Kiba. Like, so I think Naruto, his real love story was always there, and it was never going to be Sakura. That was a distraction. But I think them and showing how they became family is the story that Kishimoto was trying to tell,
Hmm.
and not the way people are trying to interpret it.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, but like I said, I don't hate it. Let me not say that, but it's just interesting. You just think we think of things like when we're coming up with the criteria what we're gonna talk about, and then it's like, oh, I got something else though. What like as we're talking, but even thinking about like him and the whole Hinata thing, like man, that scene where with Pain and she
Boy,
came out there, man. I will say this, and this really to me goes to show that like where Naruto's mind was and how absent minded he was about like who really loved him. Cause bro, when she came, jumped out there and she was like, she confessed that she loved him in that moment, and basically nearly died, and he lost his stuff. It's like he didn't even like really acknowledge it outside of that moment. You know what I'm saying? And
mm-mm.
I'm sitting there like, bruh, like, bro, like she, like that's the one.
Oh, bro, she threw it all away. She knew she wasn't strong enough. The first thing that she did when she hit the field wasn't even attack Pain. She went to go take them rods out of Naruto.
Hmm.
Like, she put it all on the line for Naruto. And this, not to go down a different lane, I'm staying in the same area. But the
Yeah,
only
yeah, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
the only post that really ever upset me, and I won't even say his name on the podcast. I don't even want to give him that kind of attention. But we got a particular troll in our group, and they forever bring up this fight with Pain and Naruto. Well, she broke the first rule because she had been. First off, nobody else but Naruto should have been down there in the first place.
Yeah.
So Sakura staying behind was actually benefiting Naruto more than anything else because there was nothing that she could have done for any of them
Because
in that particular.
wasn't she focused on healing people, or was that?
Yes. No,
Yeah.
well, it was she was first. So her
Or was
job in
or
this
was that the Hokage that was doing that?
that was a Hokage with the
Okay.
snails and Lady Katsuya with the
Here we
healing.
go. Yep.
Outside of that, though, there was nothing that Sakura could have done. That's not her job. And I'm going to say this for another podcast with Naruto because there's so much with this story. Ninjas in that story have roles that they have to play.
Mhm.
Some are made, some are censors. Some are really good at attacking
Mhm.
and assassination. Some are brute like Naruto. He can take on 2, 3 different ninjas probably.
Mhm.
Then you have others who are like Sakura. They're not meant to be on the field. Like they're not meant to be on the front line. They're not meant for that position in that
Yeah.
role.
Because she's
Their
technically a
job is
medical.
she's a medical ninja. It's even explained in the story that it's their job to hang back. And they are also under direct orders. Their village just got decimated
Yeah.
by Pain.
Yeah.
Decimated.
Yeah.
The only person that could have even shown up at that time period was Naruto.
Yeah.
The only person that was going to even make it. He had been missing from the village because he was training. So her calling out for Naruto in that moment of disaster is not her being weak. It's not her giving up. She's calling for the most reliable person that she knows.
Yeah.
Like Naruto is the most reliable person that she knows. There's no one else there to protect her. Kakashi's dead.
Yeah.
So what is the expectation? Hell, Lady Tsunade was about to get strung up by Pain down there on that field if Naruto didn't show up.
Yeah.
Because she has spent so much of her own chakra just to keep the village from dying.
Yeah.
Like there was so much going on in that scene.
It's context, man. Like that's it's
context
absent.
matters.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just blindly about emotion. And in that, like you said, in that period, like it wasn't just Sakura that was sitting back. It was everybody that was left dealing with the aftermath. And even I think I want to say Shikamaru because I think his leg was broken.
Yeah, his leg was broken.
And his father was like, "Yeah, nah, Naruto got this," because they understood that he had sage power, and it was like, "Oh, he got that. He on a whole nother level, and we would just be getting in the way." Like they had an understanding of exactly what was going on. Sakura,
yeah, that's right. Shikaku said it. He went to go trade on Mount Mount Miyabuki with the Toad Sages. He already understood that Naruto was on a completely. There were Jonin, qualified Jonin that could have went out there. But no, they understood this is Naruto's fight.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one.
And anything more would have resulted in more death. And even though we emotionally we love what Hinata did, Hinata was not a healer. She, had a royal bloodline and should have been protected. So she was like, let's call it what it is. She was being reckless and she was letting herself be ruled by her emotions. And if you want to get technical with it, her sacrifice would have led to ultimate disaster had the fourth not implanted his chakra inside of Naruto to turn that seal back. And get him under control.
That could have got out of hand.
It would have.
That could have got out. Yeah, if the right controls and the right writing and the right storylines were put into place,
bruh,
that whole entire scene could have just got out of control.
Yeah,
man, Naruto does have his moments. That panic, you can see it happen. The way they use Yamato to portray the desperation of that situation.
I love that scene.
Dude. That's honestly out of the anime that is also one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
because you have qualified Jonin at that time period on a mission together, and Yamato saw his hand and said, "I gotta go."
Yeah,
like he was panicking. He was
Yeah,
like, how did it get this far?
yeah,
What happened? And he was also concerned about Naruto at the same time.
yeah,
That scene was actually
bruh.
written really well.
It's
They did a
so
really good job with
deep.
that.
Yeah, like it's one of those ones that get me in my feels, man, because it's like you feel like the music is right, like the voice acting is right. You just see the desperation, and it's like you feel the weight of everything that they have been trying to prevent for years now. Like trying to get him to have this thing under control, like trying to not to have a repeat of what happened that caused him to get the fox in him to begin with. Like you feel all that hopelessness just like come like down like a bag of bricks just on your shoulders, just like all at once. Especially when he was like, "It's too late." Like in that,
Mhm.
I think the number 8 tail came on his hand. He was like, "It's too late." Like
Yep.
it like you felt that, and like as a reader, because I read it first before I seen it. But I mean, as a reader, I'm like, "Yo, what's about to happen?" Like, like I'm at the edge of my seat, and then you see the cloak and all that stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's the fourth!" Like, you know, like just excited. But that whole everything, like
Mhm.
top notch storytelling from Kishimoto, top notch storytelling. But getting it back in line with what we talking, back to the Hinata stuff and all that stuff. Getting back, blah 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 blah, to Sakura. Sakura would Sakura would have probably ended up having a similar reaction from Naruto, um, and it probably would have resulted in the same outcome, meaning his father Sakura would have came up, but it would not have had the same impact in terms of Naruto's life, in my opinion, because that moment really stuck with him, and in a way, I felt like he may not have fully acknowledged it, but he saw the difference between some like just kind of liking someone because you're have puppy love versus someone who's willing to lay it all down on the line for you. And I just
Mhm.
think as a 16-year-old boy, he just didn't know how to process that because even though it was in the heat of battle, and let's also call it what it is. I don't know if they wrote this into the story because of everything that's going on. He probably could have forgotten that that trigger actually happened in the way that it did because it was just like it really just sent him over the edge, and he just like complete like people really got to understand that that moment really sent him over the edge. And I don't know if anybody that's listening has ever been in a spot of where you have just been holding on, and then this is that one thing that is the that just shifts your emotional state to the point of no control. And that's essentially what happened to Naruto. So even in that moment where she confessed her love and he's begging her to like get out of there, I doubt very much that he remembered it like accurately, like it was a core memory because of everything that was going on and the fact that like after the pain stuff happened, then there's another thing because now you're getting into the war and
Mhm.
Sasuke and all that stuff. So like all that stuff is happening, so that he doesn't have time to really sit down and process these things as well. And I think people have to just kind of have to be fair about that, which gets into the "I love you" part.
Mhm.
Whew. Correct me if I'm wrong. This scene happened after Naruto had that essentially hyperventilation and passed out. Yeah. This was after that, right?
This is after that.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I
This
just wanted to
after
make sure I
that.
had my facts in order. So
That's so embarrassing.
I know, yeah, yeah, I hated that. So now putting that all together, Naruto has been through a lot. He had just heard stuff that his compadre has done.
Mhm.
He hears the truth about how he's currently being manipulated. He passed out. He All this stuff has happened to him. He hears all these things. He understands that Sasuke's in just essentially he's alone. Naruto, for his credit, he sees it more accurately than anyone else, but at the same time, there's a lot on his shoulders. Like literally, this dude is the champion of his village, but there's still so much going on. They're in a state of about to be a war because of Sasuke.
Mhm. Yeah.
And here comes Sakura feeling guilt because she understood that in part that she is partly responsible for why Naruto is so dead set on getting Sasuke back, or so she thought. And I say and so she thought because, like I said before, that whole fight and him trying to get him back transcended what she asked of him. He had already put in himself that that is something that he wanted to do. And as the story goes on, they just had a bond, from a spiritual level that was always going to have them clash and have that type of relationship. So let's just call that what it is. Some people are going to say, "Oh, they writ that in later." That may be true, but we have to treat it as if it's connected because that's what it is. So, yeah. But so she comes out knowing all of this is going on, trying to, in my opinion, keep him safe, keep him from having to make the difficult choice to, like, she cares so much about him and is tired of seeing him suffer. Like, this whole relationship has come full circle in this moment, and the fanboys are so blinded by the fact that it's not romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Because she cares so much about him that she is willing to stretch the truth so that he
It's
doesn't, because it's the truth. It is the
it,
truth.
it's that, but also too, it goes back to the point that we made a few minutes ago.
Hmm.
It's the context of the situation that they're in.
It's so much
It's
weight
not
on it.
the love is, in my opinion, not the number one priority. It's
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 not.
it's it's there, but it's not the priority. The get the For the people listening, just a refresher about what is going on when we talk about these scenes. Sasuke pretty much just became the number one criminal because he just went to the five Kage summit and tried to assassinate everyone.
Yeah.
He also, to their knowledge, because we don't know what Killer B did yet, he went and tried to kill Killer B.
Yeah.
And mind you, Iwagakuri from the Cloud Village, Konoha is strong for on their side of the world. From what we picked up, the Cloud Village is on a bumper as well too.
Yeah.
If not neck and neck. So now you have the two strongest militarized nations, possibly once again gonna go to war with each other over some stuff that Sasuke did.
Hmm.
He's a criminal in all nations now, and you have the hero of the village who just became the guy. He just
Yep.
became the person. Everybody cares about Naruto. Everybody wants to know that he's safe.
Yep.
Everybody wants to make sure that he's doing well. They were so protective of his emotions, they didn't even want to tell him about what happened in their decision with Sasuke. They
Yep.
were trying to protect his emotions because what was going on was that even if you remove the Akatsuki from the picture and their entire mission and what they were trying to accomplish, and you remove Kabuto and what he was doing after the Orochimaru situation, they could have went to war just over what Sasuke was doing.
Yeah.
And you have all of this going on, right? And in their young minds, because in part two, unlike part one, where we had these nuances and slice of life moments where it seemed like they were just living a day-to-day life, you
Hmm.
don't have that in part two. Part two is like a car with its gas, with a brick on the gas pedal, and it's
Yeah.
getting you to the finish line.
Yeah.
There's so much going on
Yeah.
in part two.
There's no
The
breaks.
Akatsuki. No, there's not. The Akatsuki. Then Naruto has to train again to learn the Winston Shuriken. Then
Yeah.
Jiraiya died. Like, things are just happening over and over and over and over and over again,
Yeah.
that you don't have a moment to really revisit what happened in part one at the end. Can you bring Sasuke back? In Sakura's mind, she wants to protect, once again, she wants to protect Naruto. Maybe she, in her mind, if she confesses her love for Naruto, that in some weird way, maybe this will stop whatever pursuit he's on to bring Sasuke back. Because if it seems that Sakura doesn't care about Sasuke anymore, then maybe Naruto won't care about Sasuke anymore. But I don't know. I think you have to be smarter than a fifth grader to pick that comprehension up instead of just looking for the easy answer. Because that's exactly how I picked it up. Oh, Oh, she wants to protect him. Yeah, yeah. How about I just say I love you so you don't go on this fruitless pursuit of trying to get Sasuke back? Because if I don't care about Sasuke, then maybe you won't care about Sasuke. And of course, that's not how it worked out. Everybody knew when she did that. Everybody,
Yeah,
everybody knew. It wasn't like Naruto was shocked because he didn't expect it. He was shocked because she was this itch was lying.
yeah,
And that's why she was shocked. And I also think that she was shocked. He was shocked as well because, like he said, no, you love Sasuke. That's who you love. That's the person that you want to be with. It's not me. But hey, I don't know. That's the way I
and
picked it up
see,
in the story.
nah,
I'll
and
pass it back to you on that one.
yeah, but even think about it like this: like, for all intents and purposes, let's call it what it is. Like, there was there was going to be no way that Sasuke was going to generally survive outside of the circumstances that saved him. Because
Mm-hmm.
even because let's take Toby out the picture, okay, or Obito, in his interference. Just from Sasuke showing up at the summit, starting nonsense, getting into it with the Raikage,
Mm-hmm.
then Gara having to show up, and
Mm-hmm.
then essentially getting cornered, like because I don't think people understand Kakashi was going to murder that boy.
Oh yeah, no. Kakashi,
Yeah,
Kakashi knew he understood the assignment.
yeah. Kakashi was like, yeah, it could, and mind you, he had a general love for Sasuke, but in that moment, see, and here's the thing: Naruto's lens was hopeful. It wasn't futuristic, and I think I need people to understand that. Meaning, yes, the story ended up working out so that Sasuke is able to be redeemed and comes back to the village eventually, and all is well. He's an ally again, and they're
Mhm.
friends, and blah 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 blah. But in that moment, there was no redemption for him because of the
No.
declarations that he was making and his actions that followed. He had just killed Donzo for crying out loud. Like, dude was reveling in evil for what it was. I mean, as much as we may feel like his actions may have been justified, he was swimming in evil. And his chakra had changed. People did not recognize him by how he felt. Like, he was
Mhm.
going more and more into a dark place. Everybody saw it a certain way but Naruto, and Sakura was trying to protect Naruto because she did love him. So yes, did she fib a little bit about by making Naruto believe that it was a little more romantic? Yes, but I do believe, and hear me out on this. I do believe that if we're talking about it from a realistic standpoint, meaning Sasuke's enemy number one for not just Konoha, but all these other nations, he has everybody after him. Outside, like I said, if Obito does not save him, he is dead. Like, and there is no uh Sakura and Sasuke. It doesn't happen. There's nothing there. And so it's very plausible that that actually could have blossomed into a relationship. It's very plausible. Just putting that out there. Like, that could have actually been the beginning of the relationship had things gone through a certain way. But the fact that it did not, because hold up, let's even, because I didn't intend on even going this far, but let's even go even further towards the end of the series of Shippuden, not Boruto, but Shippuden, and they just finished. They just wrapped up the war. We got Madara out of there. We got the um, how do you pronounce her name? Kagaya,
Oh, Kayuga.
Cayuga. There we go.
Yeah.
Cayuga. Got her out of there. All should be well. And this dude nearly murders her again. So now you got to deal with that. And they both nearly died. Like, there was always still that possibility that Sasuke was going to end up dead. It was
Hmm.
always going to be that possibility. And who knows what would have happened back then, because it could have been as they got older, because war changes people, you know, maybe she would have gotten to the point of seeing Naruto different, but Naruto would have been a different person because his death would Sasuke's death would have affected him too. And I think people have to understand that is that Naruto and Sakura's relationship all kind of hinged on Sasuke and whether he was there or not. And for her, she was trying to protect him and,
Hmm.
and whatnot. And then in a way, it ended up transforming because even though Naruto had his reasonings, in a way, he was bringing back the person that he knew that she wanted to be with. He understood it. He accepted it. And in that moment,
Hmm.
he was just only upset that she was lying to herself because that
Yep.
is what he said. He specifically said, hold on, let me go back to it. I gotta go
Oh
back.
no, no, no. While you going back to it, I think a perfect example of what their relationship would have turned into is look at Jiraiya and look at Tsunade.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what Naruto and Sakura are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are. Orochimaru doesn't count into the picture like a Sasuke type because there was never any kind of romance between Tsunade and
Mm-hmm.
Orochimaru. But Jiraiya and Tsunade is exactly what Sakura and Naruto are.
Yeah.
The way
And you remember
Tsunade
when he
broke
died,
down,
and when he died, she was heartbroken.
man, she had not only was that her squad mate, she's the Hokage that allowed him to go on that mission.
Oh yeah.
Watching her break down in the hallway after she had a moment to just be by herself, away where she didn't have to be the strongest ninja in the room,
Yeah.
that to me showed me exactly how much she cared about Jiraiya.
Yeah.
You don't break down like that for anybody.
Yeah.
Like there are different type of loves in this world that
It is.
exist. Some is romantic, some is parent love, where it's unconditional, and some is just straight up brotherly, sisterly type love. You
Platonic.
don't look at that person as it's platonic. You don't look at that
Mhm.
person as a romantic option, but that person has a profound impact on your
And
heart,
it
your feelings, and your emotions.
exactly. And it doesn't mean that it's no less deep.
Hmm.
It's just not romantic. And I think it
But
go ahead.
I said, but in our fan base, the first thing they're gonna say, well, she just shouldn't have said it like that.
No, but she was trying to meet him where she thought he was.
Yeah.
As a teenager. Let me get him to understand it from the standpoint of where I feel like he will hear me and listen to
Hmm.
me because like you said, there's so much going on. They haven't had a conversation. She doesn't know where like if he's still holding on to this. She's assuming that that's a strong part of why he's still doing this because
Right.
of how much she pleaded with him. But they hadn't seen each other for years, and then once they get back, they go into training again with Kakashi, and then they're thrown into missions. You know what I'm saying? So there's no time to sit back and be like, hey, so remember when I said like, and begged you to go get Sasuke? I think we should chill out on that. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff just happened. And then people have to also understand is that when you love someone, and then again, we're talking about mature audiences, okay? This is a maturity thing. When you love someone, you sometimes act out of character. Meaning, you could say all day in your mind, "Man, I'm chill, I'm this and that, and that, whatever." But when you're in love with somebody, you're going to behave different. You're going to respond to them different because that person vibrates with you in a way that other people do not. And
Yeah.
Sakura, it went from a childlike crush to genuine love. And like for the sake of storytelling, even though I don't necessarily agree with her choice, it is absolutely something that Sasuke needed to keep himself grounded,
Hmm.
especially after his redemption, because she keeps him grounded. And like I didn't want to get into Boruto, but you come to see, especially in the story arc, they did the manga special. I know they did it in the anime special too, but where he has to go into that prison and get the try to figure out the stuff so they could try to help out Naruto because he's kind of sick or whatever.
Yeah.
And but in that arc, they showcase their love and just exactly how he thinks and feels about her. And one thing that people also have to understand is that she's okay with the fact that she is completely okay with who Sasuke is as a man. Like just
Yeah.
straight up. And people just have to accept that Naruto was just not the type for her. Like
Hmm.
it just would have been too, I think Naruto ultimately would have been too much for her. even as adults, like he's probably more expressive than what she needed to be, because I mean, like who knows? Like who knows the intricacies? But backing up, because I meant to make this point, Naruto was not upset because she lied. He said, I hate people who lie to themselves. Not to
Yep.
me, not to you, not to her, to themselves. That is what he was upset about. It wasn't all this extra stuff and sauce that y'all are trying to put on it. He was upset because she was lying to herself and trying to convince herself for his sake. That's it.
It's like, why are you giving up on Sasuke if I'm not?
No,
That's like,
essentially, yeah.
yeah, why are you giving up on Sasuke? That he's not giving up on Sasuke is obvious. Why are you giving up on Sasuke? And
Yeah.
it's and in that scene that and it's true. I'm looking at it now. He was not mad or upset, and he did not take that as Sakura is lying to him. It is the other way around. Why are you lying to yourself? Why are you trying to convince yourself that you don't love who you say you love? It's
And
just
and that goes into how he cares about her and his understanding of their relationship to each other.
mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we had this. I'm so happy that we had this conversation because it takes out that extra narrative. It just really does. And you know, I didn't intend on this for being a lesson on human emotions and even giving, suggestions on, you know, how to interpret different things. And even like, because I know people that are probably a little offended. I understand that there's different types of love. And it's like, yes, but you need to properly assess them in the right situations. And in this situation, the romantic part was long gone in Naruto's mind. In
Yeah.
part, in part because he had gone through a lot. he had he had gone through a whole lot. And let's even think about it from another perspective. When he found out that when he lost control at the bridge with Orochimaru
mm-hmm.
and he had hurt Sakura, he was hurt by that. And I
Yes.
and I think in part, because mind you, this is happening, I believe, before he goes off to get control of the fox's chakra.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, he still does not know how to control that chakra in full.
Not no. At that point, no, he doesn't. At that
So
point.
doing I'm gonna admit it. It's probably a bit of mental gymnastics, but at this point, he probably doesn't even want to be with anybody because he doesn't want to lose control and feel like he can hurt them because he's hurt her. So
Like,
this is just
no, I don't think that's even mental gymnastics. I think that is going with the vibe of how we talked about part two. It's the like the gas pedal is down and it ain't getting let up on anytime soon.
hmm
And once again, this is a shonen. This is a boy's story. He is not yet a man. And the really point that out and eliminate that is that remember that scene at the end when his father is leaving. It's a very sad scene, but
yeah.
he
Oh
he,
yeah.
he turned birth. Like to give you an idea of what the war ended on this man's birthday.
I know,
Like
man.
the
Yeah.
day before his birthday,
Yeah.
he was out there splitting clones, watching his friends get obliterated, just saw people die in front of him, and literally had to become that guy to be a savior alongside his long-term rival and best friend Sasuke. And now he's telling his parents that he only had a brief moment of meeting,
Yeah.
one through the seal and one to learn how to control the fox, that hey, let mom know that I don't really know that much about women yet, and I can't drink, and that I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
That dude, no one ever talks about the amount of just emotional turmoil that Naruto was under
Yeah.
in that last part. So there just wasn't any chance for any kind of romantic feelings to become one yet. And you know where that's really pointed out at is that Neji sacrificed himself, right?
hmm
And it had that whole scene with Hinata and Naruto,
hmm
and that didn't really turn into anything until well after the anime finished.
Yeah. No.
With
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
last, yeah. Like it took them happening in the last movie and Naruto really happening to wake up. He was so immature still, even as a young man who's now. I think the show portrayed him in his younger 20s. I want to say because he was 18 when the show ended, so the last movie took place a couple years later. So
Mm-hmm.
now they're in their younger 20s. He's not there yet. Like he's just not.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where even Sakura, now this is now Sakura, who is truly acting as a sister to Naruto, has to pull him to the side and go, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you not see what Hinata is trying to do for you?
Yeah.
Like, like at that point in time, there is no romantic feelings between Naruto and Sakura. This is now a true brother and sister, and Sakura is trying to get him to finally wake up
Yeah.
and mature and go like, oh my god, there is a woman out there that loves me that intensely and that deeply.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. And I just I just want to implore people to like let off the hate train. Like, yeah, it's funny, just the kind of hate on Sakura here and there, but
It gets old. It's old now for me. No offense to
yeah,
anybody, but like people have now made that their entire personality, and it's old. It's annoying. It shows a lack of comprehension, and there's no conversation to be had there, and it just takes away from what the actual story really was. It's like when people put that narrative out, it's like, what's your point? Like what is your actual purpose at this point? Because there's no discussion to be had. There's like what are you looking for? But when you flip the conversation to what we're trying to portray, man, it's a good conversation.
well,
Man, it makes Naruto look so much deeper.
but I feel
Man,
like
does it.
the material backs up what we're saying.
Oh, it does. Oh no, it 100% does. But I call it the Dragon Ball disease. Naruto, the last episodes finished what back in 2015, 2016.
Hmm.
It's been some years, and I think people's memories are starting to fade, or if they even had those thoughts to begin with. And then on top of that, I just think there's just been a lot of false narratives built around Naruto that have become engraved in people's brains as like concrete facts, and it's just not. The
Yeah.
material doesn't support it. It's like the Mandela effect, or whatever they want to call it. What you remembered is not exactly how it actually went down. And yeah, your little trolley post might net you a couple hearts and a couple laugh reacts, but like it doesn't really go much further than that. And it's just I
Yeah,
don't
man.
know. It just doesn't. Maybe I'm just getting older now, but it just doesn't really resonate with me because when you read the material, what's actually there and what actually backs up our conversation is so much more interesting. It's
Not
so much more
not like
complex.
even for me, man. Like if I was in Naruto's shoes, like taking away his statement about um, hating when people lie to themselves, I would my personality would be like, I understand why you would try to tell me that, but I'm
Hmm.
okay. Like,
Hmm.
and I would have that conversation. Like, it's okay to not want me to go after that person. Like, I probably would not have made that statement because, like I said, what Naruto was doing was trying to protect her integrity for her feelings for Sasuke.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't even about him. And at that point, like nothing in him, and it's funny because like nothing in him seemed like, ooh, this is my chance and stuff like that. It was like, nah, like we're not even doing that. And that's how
Right.
he just shut it down. And like, and if he even felt an inkling of what like people were portraying in those conversations, he would not be cool with her. He would have like pulled her to the left, like shun her to the left. Like it just would not have gone the way that it ended up going. He still loved her as a sister, I believe, as a teammate. And I really think that people need to mature and see it with adult, like true, not, let me not say adult, but see the whole story. Like I said, I just cannot get over the fact that it was so much going on that you would fault her for a teenager. Like we're acting like this is a seasoned 30 some odd year old woman that has life experience that went to him and is trying to tell him like, I love you. She did the only thing that was really in her arsenal to use in that point to try to sway someone that she cared about in a way that she felt like it could get him to not do something that was going to be a detriment to him. She was
Mm-hmm.
actually in that moment trying to resolve herself to try to kill Sasuke, and she ultimately could not. Like, and it goes back to what I was saying about when you're in the presence, or when you really love somebody, like you just involuntarily do, or say certain things, like. And she went and knew what the better thing to do was, which was to take him out at that time. And she ultimately froze and could not do it. And he was about to take her out. And yes, Naruto had to, ultimately save her. But
Mm-hmm.
it it's just not like I could go on and on, but it's not what people are making it out to be. And I really think that it's short sighted. It's immature.
Oh, vastly.
And I'm not saying it disrespectfully. So I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad or small. I just like I can't in good
In the
faith
nicest way, I think what you're trying to say is some of y'all are too old to be having the opinions that you have.
or having the
You're way too old,
feelings.
and you're just too old. You're too
Yes.
old.
Like
I'm gonna just say it out there in a non-disrespectful way, but I'm sorry, some of y'all are too old.
yeah.
Too old.
I'm so yeah, that I'm sorry. Yeah. That's where it is for me. I just can't. I just can't. I'm sorry guys. I just can't. So
Nah.
that's my conclusion is that I just really think that the way that it was written was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
As an audience person, like just being real, my first go around with it, you didn't know which way it was going to go. Like at that moment, really was pivotal. Well, I wasn't even sure exactly what was going on, but of course, after you few times going through it and actually seeing it go all the way through, like you understood exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
Um, but I actually like where their relationship is. Especially like, and I'll even say this, having have experienced this myself. When you have dated somebody or even try to have romance with people and then they have children, and your children or you're interacting with your children, it makes you understand why it did not work out. And that's the most respectful thing that I can say is that you get to a point where, regardless of what happened in your past, like it just once once children are involved, you get it. Once you get to a certain age, you get it. It's no longer a battle of why didn't she like me. It's like, I get it now because now I know why I didn't like you. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I really hope that people enjoy this conversation because we put a lot of material out there, so I'm probably going to break this up into two parts. But nah, is there anything that you wanted to say in your closing?
No, nothing I really wanted to touch on anymore on my closing. Is just that you got to read the material. You actually have to understand what's going on, and it's okay to admit that you misremembered or maybe your information is not what you think it is. And if that's not the case, and you do actually know what's going on, then you're just too old to be out there the way you are. And that's all I'm gonna leave it on that.
All right, cool. I don't know what we're going to tackle next week, man, but I'm open for anything. Maybe we'll do a poll in the groups and see what people say, man. But I will say it's interesting that you had that that Water 7 snafu. That was hilarious. That was hilarious earlier. That's
There's a lot going on in One Piece right now. You got episode 1064 that just came out today with Drunk Kaido, which is a very very funny moment from the manga. And then I'm gonna keep it real. Before this podcast even started, I was listening to the opening intro for One Piece to begin with.
ah.
So it was just one of those things where I think my brain was in a One Piece mind and the Water 7 just slipped out like
Nah, it's
naturally.
cool, man. That tickled my soul because I'm like, I know what he's talking about. Like I was Captain America. I understood that reference. So
Oh man, I'm glad. That's right. Yeah, you passed Water 7 already, so yeah, you know you understand. Yeah.
yeah, nah. So I was gonna wait. I was gonna make a post in this in the group, and I think that this is a perfect way to end the podcast. So since you are like a One Piece aficionado and someone that I hold in high regard in terms of your knowledge and dedication to the series, I want to publicly ask if it is okay if I officially join the fandom. Can I join the crew and be a part of the One Piece brigade?
Everybody is welcome on the boat. Let me not rephrase that. You are welcome on the boat. No, I'm glad that you want to be a part of the fandom, man. It's I ain't gonna front. We having fun over here. Like,
Nah, like bro, when I saw your post about the animation with Zoro versus, was it Gator?
oh, you're talking about King, the one.
King. There we go.
Yeah,
King. I
King.
don't know
Yeah.
why I said Gator, but yes, King. And when the way that you put in words, um, how it felt for you seeing that, I felt that. I felt that because I was like, you know what? If I had been watching a series this long and have been dedicated to it and attached to these characters where I am not disappointed in the writing, then I would feel exactly how you're feeling. And so when I saw your post and then I saw all these other subsequent posts where in other groups where people were just really just seemingly like, yo, us One Piece fans are eating. I was like, you know what? I feel that. I may not be there yet, meaning like I like from a reading perspective, I'm not there yet to enjoy it with you guys, but I resonated with that so much and like really came in defense of people because I forgot what I said to somebody, like what I forgot what I was responding to, but somebody was
Mhm.
like, man, these One Piece people are blah blah blah. And I was like, yo, no, nah, man. Like, let them have this. Like, they deserve it, bro. Like, let them have this. Like, this is big for them. Like, when you have been reading something for years, like I would put it to you like this. If some of my favorite Star Wars movies were ever like animated or put in live action, I'd probably drop a tear. Just
Mhm.
so yeah, it I don't know. It was something about, and mind you, I've been keeping up and trying to read at my own pace, but something
Yeah.
about it really made me just like really respect you guys, and it really come full circle. Like, nah, man, like this is what it's about. This, what you guys were expressing in that moment, and seeing the unification between every like One Piece fan, that was enough for me. It's not like Dragon Ball where I feel like it was always a battle over us having something just to say we have it
Mhm.
versus the quality of what we have, which was always the issue with Super. Is
Yeah.
but this is different. Like, you guys have what you want and have the quality of what you want it in. And I have nothing but respect and full acknowledgement of you guys. And so I take back every mean thing that I've ever said. And I want to come on board, give me a bunk, give me some yeah, what do you call it?
Big
Sake?
Saki.
Yeah, like let me catch up. But
Give you an idea of why that like last week in that episode 1063 had the fandom like that. It is because you have already saw the episode, and so it's gonna make you it's gonna put in perspective in your mind how long we've been waiting for this payoff. We've been waiting for this payoff since Zoro lost to Mihawk, and he put his sword in the air, and he said that he would never lose again.
oh wow,
And
yeah.
we've been like, so we've had these moments, like we've had these Zorro moments in the show, but we haven't had it like the way that like Oda like showed it to us last week. Like, we saw it in the manga already. Don't get me wrong, we already saw it in the manga. This came out a year ago, but watching what, like, when they animate
Yeah,
things, they
it's
do it.
different. It hits
It's
different.
different.
Yeah.
It does. And listening to like it, I actually call it a nod to what they did in Dragon Ball Z. I've been watching anime for a long time,
Hmm.
and it's something about when they take the soundtrack away and they
Oh
add like these natural elements to it.
yeah.
And that's why I made that post on TikTok with just that last ending scene. I'm like, there's so much. It's like an onion, and when Shrek's talking about his
Oh yeah.
layers,
Yeah.
that scene has so much to unpack. It's like, this is Zorro. This is the vice captain of the Straw Hats. This is someone did it. They clipped it. This is the dude that lost to Mihawk. Swore that he would never lose again, and he hasn't. And then there's one more scene that you're coming up to and you're reading. It's after Thriller Bark that really drives it home. And it's like, holy shit. Like Oda made he sprinkled all this stuff out for us for so many years, and he didn't miss a crumb at all. Like, other fandoms argue with each other about shit that happens in their shows.
Yeah, y'all,
Not us.
y'all are
Not us.
y'all are eating, man. Y'all are eating.
Yeah, no, we eating. I
Yeah,
was looking for flaws. Like, hold on, maybe he missed something. No, he didn't miss a thing. Like it was. It's like, bro, just keep it going. Like, I can't critique you because you didn't miss any. Toriyama forgets stuff. Kishimoto has plot holes. Oda just makes you wait.
yeah,
It's like, I'm gonna make you wait, but I think I would have felt the same level of emotion seeing it 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, the same way I felt seeing it in my 30s. The difference is the amount of anticipation of waiting to get to that moment.
yeah,
Like, I've never seen where every social media you got onto was just about that one episode. Like Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere you went for a week, everyone was talking about that episode.
yeah, man. Like, and I just like One Piece is it's gonna go down as the greatest shonen of all time, man.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it just is. Like, like I said, like the way that it was just beautiful to see. like especially like for me, I didn't have any skin in the game, so
Mhm.
seeing that level of respect, like unity, and just emotion, I was like, man, this is what it's about. This is why you become. This is what generally every fandom should be about. Like,
Mhm.
when you've invested so much into something and you see a payoff and you have someone that a writer that cares. Like,
Mhm.
troll it, like, seriously, trolling aside, like, I'm leaving all bullshit at the door. Um you gotta give your hat off to Oda. Like, he cares so much about his work and his fans, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Does it take a while when you're watching it? And to be fair, it's just because I'm wanting it to get to where I want it to get to. But
Mhm.
nah, man, like, I'm fully on board now. You know, I'm fully on board. I'm putting my kunai down. I apologize to Kev for having it at his back and the Rasengan at his neck, or the Rasengan at his back and the kunai at his throat.
Right his neck.
um, my bad, man. We gonna try to get you your rank back, but you got some work to do,
Nah,
bro.
he got some work to do. He don't say some suggestive
Oh
things
man.
now, guy. He already sound like he a Marine. He ain't part of this crew yet. He gotta come back with some
Oh
redemption.
man, nah,
Um,
especially with Star Wars, man. Nah, he a stormtrooper, yo. One of them inaccurate ones that can't hit nothing.
Man, last thing I'll leave it on is I ain't gonna front because like we're 7 episodes away from it now. The last fandom that we had war with as One Piece fans, we finally hit the Dragon Ball fandom because Luffy's big transformation is
Oh
coming up
yeah,
finally,
yeah,
and it's wild because and it's true for generations the Super Saiyan, and it's still like that for me. The Super Saiyan transformation for what it is and for what the very first one, not the other ones that followed,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that shit is iconic. Like, that's the first. They dropped the soundtrack, the lightning clashing in the background, everything that went into it. That that is the blueprint. It
Yeah.
truly is. I will never tell anyone or say anything different. We definitely have some radical One Piece fans out there, but I will never go against the grain and say that's not the blueprint. But what has everyone shook is that even though that's the blueprint, what's getting ready to come up is about to be insane. Like, no bullshit. I've been watching the production teams that they're bringing in over at Toy,
Hmm.
and even Geekdom has made a post about it. They're spending
Cause he ain't got no
money,
choice.
bruh. They're spending money at Toy Animation right now. they brought in two Warner Brother animators because Oda said it years ago. Everything about Luffy's character and what he's building up to is he grew up with Tom and Jerry. That when I heard that in the interview, I was like, that explains so much in the show. He grew up with Looney Tunes, and Looney Tunes is a very interesting show in Japan to grow up with, and then try to translate American cartoons into a shonen anime.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom and Jerry is his blueprint for a lot of stuff in this show. So they got Warner Brothers coming in to help out. They have people from the like the not the original Looney Tunes production, but like the inheritors of it. They're coming in for direction. This never happens it ever. They have the number one director of anime in Japan from Ghibli, which is like their Disney. His name is Ishitama, working with the number one animator. They have never worked together with each other. So it's like they built a lot into what's about to happen in these next 7 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't gonna front. They got every like Demon Slayer fans are used to having the best animation. They have not had the best animation this year. When it comes to story writing, that's all for the Sinning people who like the little older manga. They haven't had the best writing this year. It's been One Piece sweeping up everything. And then Dragon Ball, that's their at least for anime Twitter, that's what they hold on to. You can never eclipse Super Saiyan. But for I think for this new generation, I think
Oh
when we
yeah,
become really old men, we're gonna see a lot of cartoons that are gonna be mimicking what Luffy is doing. The same way the cartoons we grew up with mimic what Goku is doing. That doesn't mean that Super Saiyan is going away, but we are humans. We are
yeah,
born and then we die. Things change,
yeah.
and being at the age that we are at, we are literally like I feel like I'm blessed. If God willing, I get to see Super Saiyan and Gear 5 in the same lifetime. Like, to me, that's awesome. But I also get to acknowledge, too, that that means that I'm getting older because now something else is going to become just as iconic as the other transformation. Even though it hasn't happened yet, the energy for that to happen is there. And it's happening at a time period that, we didn't have. And I think that's what makes the two moments very iconic. Like when I was growing up, I remember that day. It happened in September. It was a little wet outside. I was trying to go home because I knew what was getting ready to happen. I was in fourth grade, bro. I was trying to go home. If you missed Super Saiyan that day, it was like missing everything
Mm-hmm.
because you had to wait until the middle of summer for Toonami to replay it.
Mm-hmm.
So missing Super Saiyan back then, it's like, holy, like, bro, you missed it, and it's like all the excitement like that people had. You didn't know. You couldn't go to Google and look this up. There was no YouTube to go rewatch this on.
No,
None of
that's
that
facts. That's
existed.
facts. Yeah.
It didn't exist. But what makes that's what made that moment so special and why it's still special in my opinion. But I also think too, though, what makes this upcoming moment special is that the internet does exist and you get to see the hype for it.
Yeah.
And we already saw the manga, so we know it's not going to disappoint. And it's like watching the balloon of anticipation fill up. That balloon of anticipation that you didn't really get a chance to really see fill up with Super Saiyan because these outlets didn't exist. It's like they're special in their time periods for different reasons. I don't. That doesn't mean that one needs to be better than the other. But we are getting older, and we are now getting ready to watch something else happen that's gonna regulate what we grew up with. Not necessarily to the back, but like, yo, it's time. Like records are meant to be broken.
No, absolutely, man. I feel that 110%.
Yeah.
110%. So yeah, and out of respect for you being, like I said, the aficionado, you know what I'm saying, the head. What did I call you? I called you.
Oh
Uh,
man, it wasn't Captain Straw Hat Uchiha, was
I
it?
think it was. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Cause yeah, man. Cause you was the head Uchiha for a minute, man. And now you Captain Straw Hat Uchiha, man. I know that's not your name, but I would if you ever went by that, I would be very pleased. Nah.
It's much respect. I like it because it's true. Like I can get into a One Piece conversation and be that guy, and then the moment somebody says some wrong shit about Naruto, I can
Yeah,
put the other hat on real quick. Like I
nah,
can, I can flip the hats real quick because I respect both shows, like I truly do. It's just that One Piece has captured my heart in a different kind of way, but I
definitely.
have a lot of respect for both shows.
Oh yeah. Nah, that's like that's me in Star Wars, man. Cause like, look, I can't be letting them jokers get into that chat and just be saying anything about Star Wars. Like, hold up, bro. Nah, it's too much material in this brain for me to let that
Oh,
slide.
just wait till this podcast come on. We're gonna have to go back and forth with a whole bunch of people. I already know it. I already know we are.
Oh
I
yeah.
already know we have to go back and forth.
Oh
I
yeah.
can I can hear it now. People, it's how we end up in these conversations. They're already typing up the responses to the podcast they haven't even heard yet.
Well, actually.
Oh, actually, it happened like no, it didn't. That was in a filler episode, and that
Oh
happened
man.
200 episodes after the regular episode ended. So no, that didn't actually happen.
Oh man. Nah, but yeah, man. Before I get into the disrespect about geekdom, I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, man. I think we we got a couple of weeks of content on this one, but I
Oh
appreciate.
yeah, no, 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
Now my
man.
dog looking at me right now, like, what are you doing on chilling?
But I appreciate everybody that's coming to support us, man. Like I said, we'll figure out what we're gonna talk about next, but whatever we do, man, I hope you guys tune in. Please continue to support All Nerd Everything. Um,
Hmm.
man, just like we starting to blow up a little bit. We getting more followers, so I appreciate everybody that is subscribed. From watching our short videos on TikTok and on YouTube. Um, we're just going to continue to grow, man. Just continue to look for the next level for things. I do want to thank you, John, for being the consistent voice that we need over here, man. Thank you so much for volunteering your time and just even showing up for me and having these discussions, man. It's fun. I love it, and I appreciate you and the sacrifices that you make um, to make this a reality. And just thankful to all our listeners, man. Like, just continue to support us, man. I promise you, it will not be in vain. Um, but anything you want to say before we depart, John?
Uh, Same thing. I appreciate everybody who stops in at Honor Everything and also the Ascended Nerd Universe and who supports us and for people who are just listening to us. Thank you for checking us out and we hope the discussions that we're having are fruitful and feel free to add in. Drop comments, hit the subscribe button, let us know how you feeling and it's a pleasure always talking with you, man. It's I have fun doing these, so it's nice to have that break, but it's also nice to come back and be able to do these as well too.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Thank you, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.